Hello the internet, my name's Laura and welcome back to my channel. Today I have done something that I have really actually wanted to do for a while now, and I just kind of hadn't gotten around to doing until now, and that was create my own hashtag questionnaire. Houseplant related obviously because I have a houseplant channel, but I made up a list of questions and I'm going to answer them, and then I'm going to tag some people. And this is actually a hashtag that I created, and the questions I came up with on my own. So if you are interested in seeing that, stick around. Okay, so the reason that I decided to create this hashtag is that I'm actually getting pretty close to 100 subscribers, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot, but for me is actually kind of a big deal because I kind of just created this channel because I wanted to, and like I haven't been doing stuff in order to make it grow really, right? Like, you know, I'm putting out content obviously, which is important. Nobody's gonna watch you if you don't have content, but I just kind of turned around one day and I was like above 50 subscribers. And then I turned around one day and I was above 80 subscribers. And now I'm like closing in on 100 and I'm like, so I wanted to create this video for, so that people who are coming in who might be a little bit new and haven't gone through all of my content, because I actually have a decent amount of content now, might be able to get to know me a little bit, and then you know, then they can just watch whatever videos they want to watch. They don't have to like watch the whole thing. You can watch the whole thing if you want to. Go ahead, watch all my videos. You know, kudos to you, but I'm still creating this because I just think it'll be fun, and it'll also be a way for people to get to know me. So that is actually the name. The hashtag is hashtag getting to know you. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with those questions that I have written down and answer them, and it will be great. It will hopefully be great. It will probably be great. Yeah. Okay, so number one is introduce yourself. I kind of already did that, but number one is introduce yourself. So my name is Laura. I am a YouTuber, and I also am a writer in, you know, my spare time. I don't know. I do other things, and then I also YouTube. So, number two. What hobbies do you have besides plants? Yes, I know, because plants are definitely one of my hobbies. So, like I said, I'm a writer, though that's more of a career path than it is a hobby, but I also see it as a hobby because it's something I really, really enjoy doing. I also play D&D. Role-playing, tabletop type games. Most of those are online right now because of like Corona. But that's something that I've been doing for many, many years. I'm also very interested in anime and Japanese culture. And I have watched a lot of Korean and Chinese live action dramas on Netflix because they have a lot of good ones. So I think those. Oh, also horses. That's right. That's like also horses. I also ride horses. So those are just some of the things that I do when I am not doing this thing. Number three, do you have any dependents? That is pets and or children. Do not have any children, but I do have pets. I have 2 cats. They have been in previous videos before, but they're not often on these videos. The older one is named Copper, and the younger one is named Argon. Argon is the bigger one, Copper is the smaller one. It's very confusing. It's not really all that confusing. I also own 2 horses. Tori is a horse that I've had for 10, 11 years now, I think. I bought her when I was first getting back into horsenitude. And I bought her and she taught me a lot of my, you know, beginning riding thing. I didn't get into riding until I was much older in life. And then Nick is a gelding that I actually We impregnated a mare that was on the farm, and he was born on the farm, and I've owned him his entire life, and he is about 8 right now. And I've basically done all of the training on him, obviously with the help of the people at the barn where I work. But they are both Appaloosas. I have shown both of them, and Nick has won some ribbons at the World Appaloosa Championship, so that's kind of cool. All right, number 4. We're going to get back into plants now. All right, number 4, why plants? Either why did you start keeping plants, or why did you decide to be so serious about them? Basically, what is your plant origin story? So, my mother had plants all when I was young. So, I mean, she was just always really into nature-y type stuff. Like, she always had plants. We would go out on walks, and she would, like, point out different plants, like, out in nature, different types of trees. She had bird feeders. I learned to, like, identify all common birds and some uncommon birds, you know, like, as I was growing up. And so there were always plants around. And I was never really all that great at plants. Like, I had a couple that she gave me, and if they managed to survive my neglect, then they stayed with me. And if I got too bored of them, then they went and died a horrible, slow death over there. So that was a lot of my life. And then I had a little bit of an epiphany at one point, where I just kind of started getting into plants. It was during a kind of a low point in my life, and I started watching YouTube videos, plant YouTube videos, the Shop With Me ones, because it was like a way to go and just see a whole bunch of plants without actually having to go out and see plants, because I don't have a great selection of nurseries or anything around here. So anyway, I kind of got obsessed with watching those videos, and I was kind of picking up on taking care of more succulents, and it kind of, from seeing people, you know, and all of their plants, it just kind of fed into each other and then exploded into plants everywhere. So YouTube, I blame mostly YouTube for my current plant situation. All right. Number 5, why did you start a YouTube channel about plants? And talk a little bit about your first video. So, mostly the reason that I started a YouTube channel was because I was watching all the people who did these YouTube channels, and I was like, well, I can do that. I had some video editing software and some experience with that, because I used to this is going to sound really weird, but I used to play World of Warcraft, and I used to fraps, which is capture the video of boss kills that we would do, raid bosses, and then I would turn those into music videos where I would just show our boss kill, and then, you know, I would post them for the guild to watch, and it was like a thing, and so I had some experience with that. Anyway, so I figured it wouldn't be very hard for me to do, is just take a video and put it up online. And so I did that. And my first video ended up being, I went to a nursery that was up in Maryland when I was visiting family, and I found a variegated angel trumpet. And I was really, really excited about finding that, because I had had an angel trumpet at one point until I got bored of it and let it die a slow death. But this time I was going to keep the angel trumpet alive. And so I posted, I'm pretty sure that was my first video, was posting, this is my angel trumpet. I also taped it, I'm pretty sure, this way instead of this way. So it was a learning experience. It was great. And, but yeah, and then I kind of kept doing it just because I enjoyed it, you know, like, and it wasn't really a hassle to do. I I mean, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I don't really put a lot of effort into these videos. I kind of just do whatever strikes me, like this. I just felt like writing questions today, so I wrote questions, and now I'm gonna tape it and I'm gonna put it up, and that's just kind of how all my videos go. And I figured there's enough people enjoying it. Even when there was only like 25 subscribers, I was like, there's people enjoying this. I'll just keep putting it up as long as I'm still enjoying this. And now, like I said, I'm closing in on 100 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. All right, number 6 is, what is your plant philosophy? Do you go out there and just buy whatever strikes your fancy, or are you a little more like, oh, I'm going to wait until I find a really good price or one that's really beautiful, or, anything like that, right? And I would definitely say that I am in the latter camp, where I tend to not spend much on plants in general. I mean, I guess overall I have spent a lot of money on plants, but each individual plant is not really that expensive. I think the most I ever spent on a plant was $40, and that was for my philodendron silver sword. That was a birthday present to me, and even buying that one, I felt like, wow, this is a lot of money. So I'm definitely not one of those people who goes out and spends a whole lot of money on plants. I'm kind of happy with what I have. If I enjoy the plant, I don't really care how difficult it is to get, or how rare it is, or how trendy it is. Not that I've never been influenced by, what's trendy, on YouTube or anything like that, but, for the most part, I just kind of sit around and wait until I've got a good deal. There's a couple of plants out there that are a little more expensive that I'd really like to find, but at the same time, I'm willing to wait until I find a pretty good price on them. So that's just my general philosophy. Number 7, what is your favorite part about keeping houseplants? Oddly enough, my favorite part about keeping houseplants is just checking them over. So I just love pulling whatever plant off and just looking at it, looking for pests, keeping it clean, pruning it if there's any dead leaves, or anything like that. That making it look nice-ness is just really, I don't know. It must satisfy some part of my brain. I have an Ausobia, this plant. This Ausobia dianthiflora, and I haven't actually done this recently, but this guy kind of goes in and out of being happy. And so sometimes I have to go in and chop off some dried out leaves. Right now it has flowered, and so it's got a bunch of little petals in there. And so this is just an afternoon project where I just get to go in here and I have my little tweezers. And I just go in there and I just pull them out, and it's just so satisfying. So that really is, I like watching them grow, and I like, having them and watering them and taking care of them and blah, blah, blah. But if I get one that I can just, I almost want to say pick at, that I can actively do something to make it look better, getting little hairs off, and that is my favorite part. 8. Question 8. What is your current favorite genus / type of plant? I definitely would have to say right now, my favorite type of plants are begonias, and you can see a number of begonias in my background here. Not that I collect exclusively begonias, obviously, but I've really gotten into recently the Rex and eyelash begonias and getting a number of those. That one over there is a cane begonia, but my mother gave that to me. Point. It's actually pretty big. Yay to my mom. But mostly, yeah, right now mostly begonias. I also recently have kind of been interested in carnivorous plants, mostly because I've got another YouTube channel that I really enjoy watching, Planting Memories, and he's really into carnivorous plants, and so I've tried out a couple of them, and I'm really, really kind of interested in them. I don't have that many of them yet, but they're really kind of interesting. And then also recently, I, on a whim, tried out what's called a primulina. And they're basically like African violets, only they have silver markings on their leaves. And I bought one, and it has been growing like crazy. Like, I just water it and stick it under this light here, and it's grown really, really fast. And so I got a number of other ones of those, and I am, working on figuring out how to take care of them, because right now, whatever, but figuring out how to take care of them. They're eventually going to flower, and so I'm kind of new to that. Obviously, I have other things. I have philodendrons, I have alocasia, I have a couple of Hoyas, I have a couple of calathea, some trailing plants, a lot of succulents. Those are all outside right now because it's summertime, and so I did get into succulents originally. I've drifted away from that a little bit, but there are still some succulents that I have that I just absolutely adore. So that was a very long-winded answer to that question. Number 9, how good is your space/house for plants? I put this one in here just because I'm curious as to what other people's situations are. My house is actually fairly terrible for plants. The way it's situated, most of the windows are just not in a good place. I think I have three south-facing windows. One of them is in a bedroom that I just don't ever go in. It's our guest room, so I don't really want to fill it up with plants. And the other two of those south-facing windows are very small. And then these windows behind me here are west-facing windows, but they are covered by a porch. And so the amount of light that actually comes through them isn't great. That's why I have all these grow lights. Grow lights for most of my plants. And then my begonias are by the window because they don't need a ton of light in the first place. They seem to do pretty well there. Right now I have a lot of my succulents up on my west-facing porch, which for the most part they enjoy the amount of sun that they get. But they do lean a little bit because obviously it's a very directional light. And I've got some plants that are on my east-facing driveway because, again, my only east-facing windows are in my husband's office, which is another place that I can't really put plants because that's his space. And so a lot of them go out on the driveway. So for the most part, though, I just don't have great light. I am jealous of people who have great light, and so I've gone to grow lights. But I'm just kind of curious what other people's situations are. Thankfully, I haven't needed to spend too much on grow lights. Most of the grow lights that I have that are working pretty well, and I'm sure that actual grow lights would work better, but these are just like $15 shop lights from Home Depot. I think it's Home Depot. One of those big box stores. And they seem to work pretty well. I got full spectrum ones. Maybe one day I'll replace them with actual grow lights. Maybe things will do better, maybe they won't. But for the most part, everything's working out pretty well. So my house is terrible for light, for plants, but I'm making do. All right, number 10. How do your housemate or housemates respond to your plants? Right now I only have, I'm technically living with a husband and 2 cats. The husband is actually really supportive. I'm not sure he really gets it, like why I want to have so many plants. But he has on many occasions told me how proud he is of my YouTube channel and my taking care of the plants, and as long as I don't go overboard with the spending, he's pretty chill about me just spending whatever I want to. My cats, actually, I'm very lucky in that neither of them really goes after chewing on plants. The younger one will play with them, but he doesn't chew on them. Don't really chew on them at all. So I'm actually slowly moving some of them upstairs. Because I had most of them either downstairs or outside, but I'm actually moving some of them upstairs into my living room, which still doesn't have great light, but what are you going to do? And they, so far, haven't even messed with them. I even put my philodendron Brazil up there, so it's like a trailing plant. And I really, really expected the younger cat to at least go over and like bite a leaf or something like that. And he's looked at it several times and just left it alone. So all 3 of my housemates are pretty awesome about my plants, and I'm very happy about that. Okay. And then this is the last question, so there's obviously 11 questions. What are you looking most forward to as a plant parent? So this question's just kind of supposed to be, I guess what I'm looking forward to the most is for them to grow, because most of them are about the same size as when I got them. So like if they had big leaves, it's because they came with big leaves. Like, and so I really want to, because like even this angel wing begonia where the leaves are bigger than my hand. I mean, they're like, that was technically because my mom grew it and then I took a cutting and then they're still that large, right? So I think what I'm looking forward to the most is like actually getting some of the plants that I have and am taking care of, getting those leaves to be really, really big. Or getting the plant to be really, really big. Or, you know, getting a plant to the point where it's like I look at that and I'm like, this is an old plant. Like you definitely can tell. So those were the 11 questions that I came up with. I hope that helped you get to know me a little bit better. I'm really looking forward to perhaps seeing some other people do these, just because I'm interested in what other people's answers are to some of these questions. I am right now going to tag, of course, Planting Memories, and It's Me, Rebecca B, because I know that they watch my channel, and I would really love to see, you know, their answers. Also, if you are a plant YouTuber, or even if you're not, and you'd like to, you know, take this hashtag and use this as like, you know, your introduction video or something like that, you know, go for it. And then go ahead and tell me down in the comments that you're doing it so that I can go look at it and, you know, comment on it and like it and all that kind of stuff and hear your answers, because I just think that that's super awesome. So that is going to be my video. If you like this video, go ahead and like this video. If you are not yet subscribed to me and you would like to stick around, please subscribe to me. And I would like to thank everyone for spending some of your time with me today. And I will see all of you in the next video. So, bye-bye.